The protests in Ondo, Ekiti, Ogun, Osun and Oyo states were peaceful as members of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress joined their colleagues nationwide on Wednesday. Ayodeji Moradeyo has more.
Members of the organized labor in the southwest complied with a nationwide protest over petrol subsidy removal in their different states. In Akure, the Ondo state capital, the protest was peaceful as labor leaders marched to the governor's office where they submitted a letter to the representative of the state's governor. The story was not different in Ekiti state as members of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress TVC joined the nationwide protest.
We want a situation whereby the hike in the port price of fuel should be reduced. By so doing, our currency will have value.
That say labor don't represent the masses. That's greatest misconception.
In Abeokuta, the state capital,
they are urging the federal government to proactively speedy the action of discharging enough palliative. The accrued trillions of naira that has been gotten from removal of fuel subsidy must be invested back into the economy.
You have to remove fuel subsidy. You must put in place necessary palliatives that will cushion the effect of this removal.
In Osun State, members of labor unions and civil society coalition converged on the Nelson Mandela Freedom Park in Osogbo for the protest.
That policy, subsidy, as practiced in Nigeria, is a scam. And we know that that policy has been implemented to favor the rich. It stops you from announcing the subsidy palliatives as you are removing.
Members of the organized labor in Oyo State were not left out as they occupied major roads in Ibadan, the state capital, to press home their demands.
We need short-term answers, we need long-term answers. We need the government to know what to roll in at the right time.
The protest took place in a peaceful atmosphere in the southwest states. Ayodeji Moradeyo, TVC News.
Let's turn our attention now to the National Assembly, where President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has read out 19 more ministerial nominees submitted by President Bola Tinubu. The Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, submitted the supplementary ministerial list to the Senate on Wednesday. The Senate has now conducted the screening of 28 nominees sent by the President. National Assembly correspondent Tijesu Adeoye has more.
Wednesday's plenary took off with an executive session to deliberate on matters of urgent national importance. After the closed session, the Senate suspended other items on its other paper to exhaust and conclude the screening of the first list of ministerial nominees. The nominees responded to questions.
My distinguished senator who has a question did mention his area and the greatest or largest waterfall in West Africa. However, even for domestic tourists, there has to be peace of mind before you can decide to visit. Well, you must be fed adequately. You must have a means of livelihood before tourism. Tourism is tertiary factor of economic development. It's not the primary for a human being.
It is possible for most of our youths out there on the street to be gainfully employed. That's number one. Secondly, it is also important that policies formulated by government should encourage participation by the private sector.
During the screening, the Senate again received a special visitor from the office of Mr. President. President Tinubu's Chief of Staff entered the hallowed chamber to present a supplementary list of ministerial nominees. The Senate concludes and reverts to plenary. President of the Senate announced 19 more nominees to also be screened and confirmed by the Senate.
In compliance with the provisions of Section 147, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and further to my earlier correspondence dated 27th day of July 2023, I am pleased to forward to you the underlisted 19 ministerial nominees for confirmation by the Senate.
90 more names have been submitted to the Senate for screening and confirmation. More work to do as the Senate will reconvene on Friday to resume screening on the latest list of ministerial nominees. Tijesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
To other reports now, a non-governmental organization in Lagos is seeking more attention to issues affecting the education sector and the need for reforms. And they believe without adequate attention to the sector, the future of the country is in jeopardy. Zainab Akande has more. We'll bring you this report shortly. In the meantime, a wife of the Anambra State Governor, Nonye Soludo, has appealed for an enabling environment to enable nursing mothers practice exclusive breastfeeding in the first 6 months for the development of their children. The governor's wife, who addressed the women representatives from the communities in Anambra State, says there is compelling need to continue to push for nursing mothers to embrace breastfeeding to improve children's growth and development.
I'm encouraging every mother to do exclusive breastfeeding without water, because as we learned today, water, the breastfeeding has 90% water, and that's why the baby gets everything the baby needs.
The essence of this is that we see it's all the professionals in area of health. We have called them, they have discussed with them. So those flyers have been given to them, and what they will now do as they're stepping down this training of August meeting in their different localities, they will now step down those discussions in terms of health, in terms of nutrition, in terms of immunization, in terms of safe birth, and a lot of discussion we have, and exclusive breast self-examination and exclusive breastfeeding, which is one of the things the wife of government is pushing.